Welcome to Wind Down Wednesday. Here are your hosts, Jeffrey Tobias Halter and Amanda Hammett.
This is Wind Down Wednesday, a contemporary midweek discussion on current workplace and marketplace issues with a focus on diversity, inclusion, intersectionality, and equity. And as always, enjoyed with your favorite wind down beverage of choice. I'm Jeffrey Tobias Halter, and this is my friend and colleague, Amanda Hammett. Hi, thank you for joining us today. During Black History Month, we are continuing our conversation with Dr. Sheila Robinson. If you didn't get a chance to catch our first show, please go back and listen. We're focusing on the role each of us can play to forge a more diverse and inclusive and equitable workplace. As you know, I'm Jeffrey Tobias Halter, and today I'm enjoying an Italian Pinot Grigio 2020. It's a nice spring day here in Atlanta, so I thought we'd start with a little white wine early. So, Amanda.
Well, apparently I had too much.
Sorry if I stunned you with that one.
I had a little too much coffee today, so I'm actually going with the water route to kind of cleanse the system. So yes, okay, all right, we're doing it. This is who we are. Well, I am incredibly honored to introduce and welcome back today's guest, Sheila Robinson. Dr. Sheila Robinson, for her part 2 conversation with us. Dr. Sheila Robinson is a celebrated publisher and best-selling author on leadership, and she's an inspirational speaker, and of course, talent innovation is her specialty. Her company, Diversity Woman Media, is recognized nationally as a leading multi-platform enterprise with program offerings to advance all dimensions of diversity and inclusion. Sheila earned both a Master of Education and a Doctor of Education from the University of Pennsylvania. She's the author of several books, which we'll be talking about today. One of them is Lead by Example, an insider's look at how to successfully lead in corporate America and entrepreneurship, your toolkit for success, the Professional Woman's Guide for Advancing to the C-Suite, and Sheila's latest book, Redefining Your Life D.I.E.T, Transform Your Look, Feel, and Perform, was published actually in October of 2021.
Dr. Robinson, welcome back to Wind Down Wednesday. So we have to ask, what's your beverage of choice today?
Hello, Amanda. Hello, Jeff, and happy Wind Down Wednesday. I am drinking, because it's the afternoon, and I sometimes get those little hunger attacks in the afternoon. Tea is such an amazing thing. And those, like you said, Amanda, if you had your coffee share for the day and even tea helps you with your water intake, and so I'm drinking ginger tea because it's good for inflammation. It's fresh, it's cleansing, and it leaves that a little taste, that spicy taste on my tongue, and it takes away my hunger pains. So if you are looking for something nice and warm and filling and appetite suppressant in the afternoon, join me with a hot cup of tea.
That's awesome. So everybody put down your Snickers bar and pick up something healthy like some ginger tea. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we've been talking all month about Black History Month. And in our earlier segment, we talked about performative DE&I, and we focused on the organization. Today, we want to talk on a more personal level. What can managers do? What can individuals do? But we also want to talk about the fact that there's the great resignation going on. There's this work in a post-COVID world, and there are clearly additional challenges and issues that women of color are facing. So, Dr. Sheila, just share some of your thoughts. When you really look at this perfect storm of what's going on in the workplace, compounded by the additional challenges women of color are facing, what are some of those, and how can you share those with your readers, or with our listeners?
That's a great question. And thank you so much, Jeff, for allowing me to be here to share my personal thoughts and some of my work. The first thing that comes to mind, when we think of Black History Month, we're thinking of all the celebratory things that we could be celebrating in honor of Black Americans, but we also have to think about some of the negative things and what happened with George Floyd and how that was a catalyst to change and, creating more opportunity for underserved communities, specifically people of color and Black communities. And I just want managers and leaders to first and foremost let's stop the blame game. Let's stop. If managers would stop and say, hey, look, nobody is blaming me for what exists today. I'm not blaming me, and I'm not blaming you. If we stop the blame game of what has happened in the past and what currently exists in the present and start focusing on the future, when our children, our grandchildren, and great grandchildren come along, it's going to be a better country and possibly a better world. If we continue to do the things that we're continuing to do, I don't even want to think of the environment that they will exist in. So we need managers, leaders, and everyone to get on board. Specific to women and the great resignation, if I am a woman, I want to be where I feel I belong. So you want to first and foremost ask, do you have everything you need to be successful in my organization, Sheila? Do you have everything you need? It could be pencil, paper. Um, when is my evaluation? Make sure your talent, and especially your women talent, have everything they need to be successful. Do you need to revise some of your corporate policies and benefits? Not only we have dealt with the disruptions of COVID, but many things have happened, and organizations now are allowing talent to work from home, or work from home some days and come in the office some days. Create, innovative. You innovate your products. Create innovative corporate policies and benefits that fit all of your talent. Develop sponsored programs. If you are a business manager and you do not have a mentor and sponsorship program in your organization, I'm just going to just say it, you're not serious. You're not serious, because you have got to have these types of programs. And then you want to acknowledge. I know that you are busy doing your job. You got your head in the grind and you don't have time to be over everybody's shoulder looking at what they're doing. Put reward programs and acknowledgement programs in place. It's going to do two things. It's going to remind you, hey, in order to retain my talent, I need to let them know that I'm recognizing their efforts and they're doing excellent work, and we're doing this to help them. It's going to remind you, but even more and more powerful, like I said, people want to know, they want to be where they know they're being valued, and you're showing them that you're being valued. And then lastly, you got to compare your employee salaries, your compensation packages to what's realistic, what it should be, and what you need to do to close the horrendous women's leadership gap, the wage gap. So those would be my tips to the managers on today.
All right. So let's build on this just a little bit more. How do organizations foster a sense of belonging and inclusion? And what are some tips that an individual manager, that frontline manager, what can they do specifically? Because they may not be able to change, the whole pay structure of a company, but what can they do? What do they have control over that they can implement today, tomorrow, next week?
I love that question, Amanda. As you can see, I'm sometimes I'm a storyteller. I guess I'm just a storyteller and being in the publishing world. But it reminds me of this quote that diversity, equity, inclusion thought leader Arthur Chan came up with, and you guys should have him on your show as well. And he says, diversity is a fact, equity is a choice, inclusion is an action, and belonging is an outcome. How powerful is that?
Yes.
So if you want to have an outcome of a successful organization, all four of those are they're all extremely important. So communication, I would say that's number one. It's first and foremost, you got to communicate to your organization what's going on between, the employee and the manager, knowing what's happening, because they're the ones that are creating economic value within your organization. So if you want to create that sense of belonging with them, stay engaged with them, constantly communicate with them. Don't eliminate the guessing game. That's where I put it. Eliminate the guessing game. You
Okay.
don't want your employees guessing about anything. Okay. And then sort of what I said earlier, start basing performance management on, make it clear goals, policies and procedures, and that's going to help the talent focus more on their strengths and not their weaknesses. And so those were, some of the things that I think can, that are very, very important in fostering a sense of belonging and inclusion, and something that individual managers can do. Um, Trying to make sure I'm not leaving anything out without duplicating what I just said in the previous question.
No.
Well, that's great. We're gonna shift just a little bit, but stay within your wheelhouse. Black History Month, Women's History Month is a good time for all individuals, particularly women of color, to reflect on themselves, on their personal life. What are they doing for themselves through the stress, through all this that's going on? And I don't think we talk about that enough. And you've recently published a book, Redefining Your Life D.I.E.T, Diet, and you're going to tell us what that stands for, around how to transform how you look, feel, and perform. So tell us about your new book and the holistic approach this also helps bring to mental health with women and all people.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you so very much. And yeah, I love how you said that Black History Month is a time for all of us to celebrate, not just the Black race. And, I want to congratulate our cover story for Black History Month, which is the Elite 100. It is a cover with 100 phenomenal, extraordinary Black women executives, all the hard work they're doing. And it is for all of us, their leaders, their organizations, our society and our community, to celebrate what their contribution to their workplace, to their community, and to our society. So thank you for that. And leading into that, the reason that I wrote the book that I wrote is because women leaders, all women leaders, we have so much, and our well-being and our productivity is one and the same. And so this is a book that it's got tips and manageable steps to help women become their best selves. We live in a health industry that's designed to help sick people. You don't go to the hospital or to the doctor they don't tell you, hey, come on, healthy individual, I'm gonna help you stay healthy. Our health industry is designed for sick people to either give you a pill or a shot. So we have to be responsible for our own well-being. And we as women are so intent on taking care of everything, everybody, and making sure everything is in order and putting ourselves last. And I'll tell you, by the time we finish with that boatload, we don't have the energy to take care of ourselves. And so the book quickly is about, simply another story. Put your mask on first. If you are a mother, or you're sitting, or anyone sitting beside a child on a plane, and a flight attendant tells you to put your mask on before you put that child's mask on, you're going to think they're insane. How can I possibly put my mask on first? And that is the same concept and the same thing that is so difficult for us to do. But if we put our mask on first, we're going to be more productive. We're going to be more equipped to save lives. We're going to be more equipped to be a better leader, mother, spouse, whatever. So that's what it's about. And so it's about redefining everything you've been doing. And the acronym for diet stands for D, what you drink, like we're drinking water, and you can't have wine, and ginger tea. The I is for your intake, your ingest, what because secondly, we live in a society that makes products that produces anything that will sell, anything that we will consume, they're going to sell it. Do you think they're thinking about how healthy it's going to make us or how long it's going to make us live? No. So it's up to us to read the packages, understand what an ingredient is of a word we can barely pronounce, less more spell. What is that you're ingesting in your body? What is that intake? So that's what the I is for, to be more aware of what you're putting into your body. The E is about enjoying being active. I hate exercise. I'm with you. Exercise is an ugly word, but there are so many things that I enjoy being active, and it keeps me, my metabolism going. It causes me to lose weight even when I'm not even trying. I enjoy playing sports. I enjoy taking walks. I enjoy going bowling. So the E is for enjoy being active, and the T finally is the most important of all of them. It's your thought process. How are you thinking? You know, come up with a compelling reason why it is so important for you to redefine how you're going to live the rest of your life, and come up with that compelling reason and that thought processing of why this is so important to you, and live it out. So that is what I'm doing now. I'm helping women become greater leaders and greater, healthier leaders by focusing on their sense of well-being for their productivity.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. I know that I personally, when I'm invested in myself and paying attention to what I'm doing for me, it makes me a better leader for my team and for all the other teams that I support across the spectrum. So thank you for this. Thank you for bringing it to our attention and to the attention of our audience. And all of you guys, if you're interested, please go out into your local booksellers and check out any of Dr. Sheila's books, but especially this diet book, the D.I.E.T book, and get healthy for yourself and for your teams. So thank you all for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, Dr. Robinson.
Thanks again for joining us for Wind Down Wednesdays, a contemporary midweek discussion on current workplace and marketplace issues with a focus on diversity, inclusion, intersectionality, and equality. I'm Amanda Hammett, and on behalf of myself and Jeffrey Tobias Halter, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for joining us for Wind Down Wednesday. If you like this episode, please subscribe to receive more episodes straight to your inbox.